All right, so you guys are not ready for this one. Today, we are diving deep, and I mean deep, into the world of Chris Martell.
YouTuber, streamer, magnet for all things paranormal.
You got it.
I've been looking into this case,
Yeah.
and honestly, the amount of stuff this guy's experienced, it's
That's a lot.
wild.
It's a lot, even for, like, the Fede Lobo crew, and that's saying something.
Right, because Fitz had, like, his share, but
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Chris, it's like a whole other...
Chris is next level.
Next level, yes, exactly.
Okay, so we've got interviews, we've got firsthand accounts, we've got Chris himself telling these stories, like, all over the place. Lucido Show, La Pensión podcast.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. So what are we doing here? We are separating the truly spooky from the maybe just a coincidence. Buckle up.
I'm ready, let's do it.
Okay, so we got to start with the creepy doll story. Because, of course, there's a creepy doll story.
Always.
Always a creepy doll story, right? So picture this. Little Chris, he's sharing a room with his brother, surrounded by toys. But then there's this doll. And it's like, not even a store-bought doll, right? It's like handmade.
Oh, extra creepy.
Extra creepy. Clown-like. Yeah. And every time Chris tells this story, and he tells it a lot, like he's mentioned it on Lucido Show, La Pensión, everywhere it just gets creepier.
Yeah, like the details, do they change? Or is it just...
A little bit.
Okay.
Like, you know how it is when you tell a story over and over again?
It evolves.
It evolves, yeah.
But this doll, you said it was like a family thing, right?
Okay, yeah, so here's the extra creepy detail. This doll, it was passed down in his family, like generations. So whatever weird energy is attached to this thing, it's been around for a while.
Oh, so it's like a family heirloom of haunted vibes.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's where it goes from 0 to 100. Chris swears, that one night he sees this doll moving on its own.
Classic.
Lights flickering, weird noises.
Yeah.
You name it, it's happening.
Like the whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
The starter pack of hauntings.
Exactly.
Check.
So, okay, childhood memories, maybe they get a little fuzzy, right?
Sure.
But then there's the story about the neighbor's house.
Okay.
And this one really gets me.
Okay, hit me.
So Chris is at his friend's place, right?
Yeah.
He's hanging out, normal night. They look across the street, and there's this house that's supposed to be empty.
Okay.
But there are lights flickering, like full-on flickering. And the TV changing channels by itself.
Poltergeist.
Straight up poltergeist vibes. And then they see it in the window. A young boy staring out with this like weird expression on his face.
See, now this is where things get interesting because you got to think, right? Like, what if it's not a ghost? What if it's like just some kid messing around?
I hear you.
You
got to keep an open mind.
Open mind. But get this. The kid's dad comes home and he is freaking out because his son is not supposed to be there.
Oh, okay,
And then the kid disappears. Gone. No one can find him.
See, that's weird.
Right.
That's weird.
So we've got the creepy doll, we got the vanishing kid.
The stakes are getting higher. And this is where Chris and his friends, they decide to dabble in a little something called the Red Book.
Okay, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know how people talk about Ouija boards?
Right.
It's like that, but like times 10.
Chris described it as a supercharged Ouija board.
Right, exactly. Like, you don't mess around with the Red Book.
And naturally, Chris messes around with the Red Book.
Of course he does.
And he's mentioned this, again, on, like, Lucido Show, La Pensión.
He's a storyteller, this guy.
He's a storyteller, but I feel like with this one, he holds back a little. Like, the details are always kind of vague.
Or maybe he's blocked it out.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's too much to remember.
Maybe. But either way, after the Red Book, things get very real very quickly. It's like he opened a door he couldn't close. Because now, it's not just like spooky vibes in an empty house, This time, it gets personal.
Okay, so what happened?
So, Chris is with his girlfriend, right? At her family's place. And her uncle. Well, let's just say he was known to be a little sensitive to that other side.
Like psychic. Could see things.
Exactly. And this uncle, he takes one look at Chris and is like, nope, something's not right here. Like, really freaked out.
Did he say what he saw?
He said he saw something dark clinging to Chris, like attached.
The psychic attachment. Yeah, that's not good. It's like whatever Chris messed with during that Red Book thing, it kind of latched on.
And it gets weirder. Because the uncle, he insists on doing a cleansing ritual right there on the spot.
Trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. And while he's doing it, He's warning Chris, like, this thing is serious, man. Be careful.
That's spooky. A lot of cultures believe that when you mess with the spirit world, you leave yourself open, you know? Like you can attract things you don't want.
And here's the kicker. The uncle, he passes away not long after this.
No way.
I know. It wasn't directly related. He'd been sick. But still.
But still, talk about bad vibes. Like, did the cleansing stir something up? It makes me think.
Seriously. Okay, ready for more? Because we got to talk about the premonitions.
Premonitions. Like, Chris could see the future.
Not exactly see, but he'd say stuff, make these random comments, and then they'd happen.
Whoa. Like what?
Okay, so picture this. He's doing a live stream with Feed, totally casual, just messing around, and out of nowhere, Chris just jokes about an earthquake. Nothing serious, just a random comment, right?
Okay.
The next day, the Mexico City earthquake, 2017.
You're kidding. The big one. That's chilling.
Chilling. Okay, last one, and this one comes straight from Chris's mom on Pensión podcast. She's talking about this crown of thorns.
Okay, like the religious symbol.
The one and only. It was a prop from some religious procession in Mexico City, and Chris's mom kept it, like a memento. Seemed harmless enough, right?
Right.
Well, this crown starts flying off the shelf.
What? Like by itself?
No explanation, no drafts, no nothing, just boom, on the floor. And it's not even like she saw it happen most of the time. It's like she'd just find it on the floor.
That's freaky. Like, it's one thing to see it move, but when things are moving when you're not looking, that's when it gets real.
Tell me about it. It freaked her out so much that she actually got rid of the crown. Threw it away.
Wow. And that's saying something, right? Because how do you just throw away something like that?
Right. It's a whole thing. But see, this is what makes these deep dives so interesting. I mean, we've got all these incidents, all these possibilities, and it's like...
What connects them, Is there like a common thread here?
And with Chris, I think there might be. Because he's talked about this, about how November is like a weird month for him.
November, like specifically.
Specifically November, like bad stuff happens, or he just gets this like uneasy feeling.
Okay, well, I mean, November IS, like spooky season, right? Day of the Dead, Halloween, all that. And a lot of cultures believe that's when the veil is thinnest, between our world and whatever's out there.
Okay, yeah, no, it's definitely got that vibe, for sure. But with Chris, it's like personal, like November is marked on his calendar or something.
That is interesting. So where does all of this leave us? We've got the creepy doll, the vanishing kid, the psychic uncle, the premonitions.
And the flying religious artifact.
Right. And I don't know, I always wonder with stuff like this, is it just us? Or are we creating these connections because we're looking for them?
It's like that saying, right? You find what you're looking for.
Exactly. But then again, there's a lot of unexplained stuff in the world,
A lot. And that's what we love about it.
Oh, absolutely. It keeps things interesting.
It keeps things interesting. So to everyone listening, be careful out there, okay? Especially with November right around the corner. You never know what you might find. And we'll see you in the next deep dive.